So the Matthew Stafford trade rumors are heating up. And as long as the Browns need a quarterback, and as long as Stafford is in the news and one of the top storylines going into free agency, we're going to revisit this subject here to keep you up to speed on all the latest surrounding Stafford and the Rams. Now, really quickly here, make sure you scroll on down and subscribe because we're so close to 42,000 subscribers. I would love to get there before the end of the week. So if you have not clicked that sub button yet, please go ahead and do so. I'll also say right now, I'm filming this on Thursday before I go out of town for a bachelor party in Vegas this weekend. So you're watching this after the Team USA Canada game. Sure hope this jersey ages well. So back on track, though. Stafford. A report has come out from Jordan Schultz from Fox Sports that the Rams are searching or looking for a first-round draft pick for Stafford. This is what Schultz had to say. Several teams per league sources have called LA about Stafford, and the belief is a first-round pick would probably be the asking price should the Rams choose to make a deal. When I saw this notification of the Rams want a first for Stafford, I remember it's like it was yesterday because it was like 2 days ago. I was in my car, and my first thought was, oh, so the Rams just told Jordan Schultz we want a first, right? The Rams are not going to start initiating phone calls to trade away Stafford because the Rams don't want to trade Matthew Stafford. This is purely coming down to Stafford's age and what he wants in a contract, and the Rams not being aligned on that contract given his age. So they are a well-run organization, and they are going to keep their options open. So they want teams to know, through Jordan Schultz, we're looking for a first. What's probably going to happen is if a trade does end up materializing, they'll ask for a first and they'll get a second. Because I don't think they're going to get a first for a 37-year-old quarterback who wants to make around $50 million a season. So I don't believe the Rams are going to get a first-round draft pick out of this. But I do believe this information, it's not a nothing story for the other team searching for a quarterback. I think this intel from Schultz came from the Rams themselves. And the Rams want other teams to know we want a first. So our lines are open. Feel free to call. But now you guys have an idea of what we're searching for. By no means is Stafford untouchable. So with the Browns needing a quarterback, we'd be foolish not to discuss the possibility of Cleveland pursuing Stafford, even though he doesn't seem to be on most Browns fans' radars because he's a little bit older, so you're kind of looking to squeeze 2, maybe 3 last good seasons out of him, and the Browns want to go with that. I wouldn't say like bridge quarterback, but last gasp, kind of like Aaron Rodgers to the Jets type quarterback. Maybe, but probably not. Like I said, he's got 2 years left on his contract. He's going to be 37 for week 1. Rodgers, 40 years old, really looked bad this past season. I think Stafford showed this past season himself that he's still a quality starting quarterback. I mean, he took the Eagles down to the wire. He gave them a better run for their money than Mahomes and the Chiefs did. So I don't believe that Stafford's best days are surely behind him. I think he can still play good football, and I think he can still play at that high level, but I don't think for much longer, right? At 37, we're looking at 2025, 2026, and then maybe we really see the fall off in 2027. So does a team feel like, hey, we've got a window for the next 2 years? And maybe the Browns do feel that way, right? With Myles Garrett and Denzel Ward and all those other pieces, maybe they feel like they can pull off what the Rams pulled off. Trade for Stafford, win a Super Bowl in your first year, and who cares about the rest? Same for Brady and the Bucs. Sign 40-year-old Tom Brady, win a Super Bowl in the first year, who cares about the rest? But I do want to talk about the money side of things here because this is the entire crux of the situation. Stafford's making $40 million a year. You can see that ranks 15th amongst quarterbacks on average annual salary. I think after the season he had, he wants a raise. I don't know if he wants necessarily a long-term extension at 37, but he probably wants the first number of that average annual salary to be a 5. Be top 10, right? I don't think he's looking to reset the quarterback market or anything, but he is vastly underpaid if you go off of the way he played last year versus how Jordan Love and Trevor Lawrence and Tua and Herbert, well, Herbert played pretty well, but still, like, he's vastly underpaid. And so Stafford wants to get a pay raise. The Rams don't want to tie themselves long term to an aging quarterback. I feel like they're going to find some type of middle ground, and maybe it's $45 million a season. The Rams are too smart of an organization with Les Snead and Sean McVay to let a quarterback who just took them to the NFC Championship game, took it down to the wire, out the front door 2 months later. That to me doesn't seem plausible, right? I don't think that's going to happen. I just don't foresee the Rams, after how far they went in the postseason this year with Stafford and the way he has played for them in the postseason, feeling like, you know what's the best move for our franchise moving forward? We're going to trade Stafford away. Doesn't seem like a Rams thing to do. But if Stafford's adamant, I want to make $50 million, or whatever the number is that's too high for LA, then the Rams may not have another choice. Now, I know LA wants a first rounder. They're not getting a first. So we see this all the time where a report comes out that a team is searching for a first round draft pick and they end up settling for a little bit less, but that's just a bargaining, right? You ask for here, they ask for here, you meet here. Or if you start here and they start there, you meet over here. So ask for a first, probably settle for a second, which is the same trade idea I've tossed out a million times or 3 times now on this channel, which is the 33rd overall pick for Stafford. I'm not saying this is like what I want to do. I'm saying this is roughly what it would cost to get Stafford. Now I'll ask you if you want to do this deal. My answer is coming up in a moment, but if the Rams called and said, we'll give you Stafford for your 33rd overall pick, you're Andrew Berry right there on the spot. Are you making this deal? Yes or no? For me personally, I'd pass. I think the Browns need to accept a little bit more of reality of where they are, which is after a 3-win season, I don't think Stafford's going to be the thing that completely saves you and wins you a Super Bowl. And if you're trading for Stafford, I think it's to accomplish 2 things. It's obviously to win a Super Bowl, but also it's probably to change Myles Garrett's mind, right? You go to Myles and go, hey, is this a plan you think you can work with? Is this a team that you feel can win playoff games? And with Stafford at quarterback, I could see Garrett going, yeah, I changed my mind. You're right. Did not anticipate this. I thought we'd have like Mac Jones or Will Howard as our starter, and I didn't see us winning playoff games with those guys in the prime of my career, so that's why I asked for a trade. But now that we got Matthew Stafford and all the success he's had in the postseason, yeah, I could see Garrett changing his mind on this. But also, let me ask you this question. If Garrett did not request a trade, do you think it'd be a good idea for the Browns to still trade for Stafford? I don't think trading for Stafford is like a bad thing to do. Like, I don't think it would set this franchise back. He's a good quarterback. You are getting a good, above average, I think possibly future Hall of Fame quarterback. Now, he's 37. He's going to be expensive, but I don't like the idea of bending over backwards for one player. I think if you start to do that, you start to lose some of the power in negotiations with players on your team and the agents. And that is a slippery slope, and you cannot lose that power when you're the guy up top, right? When you're the lion, which a GM is because you're the man in charge, you cannot afford to let that power slip by accommodating players' requests so far to the point of you trade 33rd overall picks to make them happy. If you want to accommodate a player's request by giving him like an extra bonus, that's fine, right? But 33rd overall pick, that's very valuable. And I don't like the idea of just, we're going to do whatever Myles wants to make him happy. To me, that seems like the beginning of the end, and Myles still gets traded maybe 1 or 2 years later, and now you don't have a good player from pick 33, and you're still searching for a quarterback. But having said all this, Stafford's a good quarterback. So if a trade were to happen, I would probably take maybe 2 seconds to talk myself into it. I'd be like, Stafford a quarterback, Garrett still on defense, Denzel Ward, Jerry Jeudy, let's roll, baby. That's a team that can make some noise in the AFC. All right, before we get on to the rest of today's episode, there is an awesome deal going on over at Fanatics. It's this Browns t-shirt right here. It's 25% off, so go to chatsports.com/CLE sale. I put that link in the comments and description of today's video. So if you want to get this Browns piece of merchandise or any other Browns gear in your closet, make sure you scroll on down and click that chatsports.com/CLE sale. So to kind of like summarize everything today, while I do believe Stafford's still a good quality starting quarterback, and I don't want to minimize him or his talents, I don't like the idea of making a trade just for one player's, happiness and to appease him. But if it does end up happening, yeah, I'm going to be quick to find myself in a spot where I can get myself mentally around this. However, I don't think that the Browns are just Stafford away from contending with the Chiefs and the Bills. And you probably need to be a Stafford away with his age to make this kind of deal. You need a running back, you need an offensive line. And maybe you find those answers in the draft. But you just made it a little bit more difficult to find those answers in the draft when you gave away your 33rd overall draft pick. So, pros and cons to it. Did I say in this video that I'm wearing this USA jersey today on Thursday? Yeah. Because like halfway through the video, I was like, did I already say that? Because I'm going to look really dumb when this airs, and I'm not going to say if that happens. But hopefully it's just a nice little like, oh, I remember we won that game. Yeah, that was fun. We should do that again sometime, Canada. All right. Let's pick a card to wrap up the show.
All right. Let me go with my first Ace of Hearts.
I'm going to go with my first as well, since you did. Will be an American card. No king. Not a monarchy. Let's go with the Jack for 13. Why would Jack be 13, though? Yeah, I guess. All right. I've overthought this. I'm going to do 5 of diamonds. It's going to hit. No, 9 of hearts. 9 of hearts. All right. That will do it for us on today's episode. Thank you guys so much for watching yet again, and I'll see everyone back tomorrow.